We shall pick up 3 examples for practice on IUPAC nomenclature, and we shall learn how to assign an IUPAC name to a structure having only alkyl groups as a substituent. So here is our first example. The example is represented here, first example. And as we find here, it consists of only C and H. There are substituents, there is a longest chain, and we have to find, and of course, there is a triple bond also. So we have to find out which is the longest chain, and accordingly we have to number it. The first step in any nomenclature, when we assign a nomenclature, the first step is to look at the longest chain, look at the substituent and double or triple bonds, and also functional group if present any. Now in this case we don't find any functional group, it is only the longest chain containing carbon atom, and there might be substituent here. So let us find out the longest chain. The longest chain in this case, there are possibilities of 3 longest chain as represented being here. And we find that there is a longest chain with 7 carbons. There is a longest chain with 6 carbons. Of course, we cannot call them as longest chain till now. And there is another longest chain represented by green curves here, and that is 8 carbon chain. So this would be the longest chain containing 8 carbon atoms as represented here within the green circle. And if we find, accordingly we shall give priority to this chain and number them. This would be the longest chain, and therefore we start numbering the longest chain as shown there this way, and we find that there are 8 carbon atoms. And of course, there are substituents which are nothing but the alkyl group, and here is the ethyl group CH2, CH3, and methyl group is CH3. And of course, there is a triple bond. Accordingly, we have to name these compound including the triple bond. We know that triple bond is named as yne, Y-N-E. So the name of this compound will be 5-ethyl 2-methyl oct, because 8 carbon atoms are there in the longest chain, and 3-yne, because it is the triple bond starts with a carbon numbered as 3, therefore it is 3-yne. Now let us take up another example. The example is like this. Of course, there is a cyclic ring and having a double bond in between at certain position. Then as we find here again there are substituents. 2 substituents are there, and this is our example 2. There is a substituent which is known as isopropyl group, and the other substituent is methyl group, and the double bond represents an alkene. Accordingly, we have to name it, and we name as represented after numbering the various carbon atoms. And the name is 1-methyl, 1, this is methyl, 5 isopropyl with position carbon is linked with isopropyl group, and since it is a cyclic ring having 5 carbon atoms, we called it cyclopentane, but it is not pentane because there is a double bond in between with first carbon atom. So, first carbon atom contains methyl group, a double bond, and therefore we name it as 1-methyl 5-isopropyl cyclopent 1-ene. Okay, let us take up another example. The example is third example, and of course, this again represents a ring which represents benzene only. C6H6 रिंग है, ये बेंजीन रिप्रेजेंट करता है, and at the same time this is linked to a group which is known as 1-methyl propyl. Simultaneously, at certain other position, it is linked with a group which is known as ethyl, CH2CH3, and where from to number accordingly. This is a complex structure. Where there is a complex structure, we number it as 1. So start numbering it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since it is benzene ring, therefore we name it as 3-ethyl 1-methyl propyl. This is complex structure. It is to be written within a hyphen, 1-methyl propyl, and of course it is benzene. So points to be noted here are, according to EZ stereochemistry for double bonds, carbon with a complex substituent, this is known as complex substituent, around a double bond gets priority while assigning numbers. इस कार्बन को हम प्रमुखता देंगे, प्रायोरिटी देंगे नंबर लगाने के लिए. In this case, it is benzene ring only, therefore 6 carbon atom. A complex substituent is represented by a suitable parenthesis. This is known as parenthesis, and simply bracket around the substituent name. Okay, so this way we have taken up 3 different examples of 3 different types. I suppose if you practice it, you will feel convenient to many to assign IUPAC name to several other similar complex structures, maybe cyclic or even simple structures. Okay, thank you. Please do subscribe to our channel, share and like. Thank you again.